Hello, you're welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to make this dress. The one at the left side, I made it. The one in the middle, I recreated for someone that saw the first one I made for someone else as well. So if this is what you love to learn, let's just keep watching. These are the tools that I need, the fabric that I'm using for it, and the nets, baby lace I will use for it. And these are my working tools for the pattern. I have actually drafted out the pattern halfway, so I left 1 inch for the base, and from there that's my chest line, my waist and my hip point. So let's get right into it. That's from my shoulder to my chest line to my waistline. The waistline is 18. Like I always say, use your measurement. From the waistline to the hip was 9. So, body size varies, so measurement varies. So now I'm going to take from my shoulder to my nipple point. For this person case, it is 12. So there was a mistake there. I did 11 instead of 11.5 instead of 12. The person's is 12. Sorry, 11.5, sorry. So I corrected that, and I'm going to connect like so, and from there to the underbust is I have different ways I take measurement most times. Sometimes I do from the nipple point to the underbust. I take the measurement from nipple point to underbust, which was what I did when I took this person's measurement. So what I have is 14.5, but I did 14. So the total it was gonna be so that's the underbust. Okay. Method of taking measurement varies. So it depends on how you learn or how you were taught. So I'm going to connect that as my hip line now. The first one I wrote on was my underbust, my UB. Then my nipple pan. I always put shoulder to nipple pan, that's SNP. Then my chest line. So that is my hip line now. So I've labeled my chest line, my nipple pan, shoulder to nipple pan, my underbust, the waistline, and the hip line. So the rest is going to act like the baseline for the dress. So now I'm going to put the nipple to nipple, like we call it, which is 4.5. I'm going to connect like so. Then I'll connect with a straight ruler. So I'm going to take my shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement is 8. Then I'll connect it with a straight line so that we'll have a straight, so that my measurement will be equal. So that's why I'm remarking them as you see me do. I'll connect. I'm going to go down by 1.5. Then for the neckline, I'm going to do 3. The depth, the wideness of it, I'm going to do 3 as well. It's just the standard that I'm using. And I'll connect all my lines. So go ahead and connect yours. Then I'll connect the shoulder slope. Then I'm going to divide my shoulder slope into 2. So I'll connect. That's because we're making a bustier that, so this is from the shoulder that we're going to do the contouring, if that makes sense. So for my underbust, I'm going to go in like so. I did 2. From there, I will mark it straight down to the waistline. Sorry, then the other side I did 1 inch. I'll connect it to the nipple point. Then the other side of it, I'm still going to repeat same process. I'll connect it to the nipple point. Then from that nipple point, I'm just connecting it straight down to the waistline. Repeat same process for the other one. So if you're working with a bust that is from like 40, 43, maybe 45 upward, you can go in by 2, 3 on the other side, then 1. The 1 on that side, just leave it that way. So now I am going to do a contouring here, 1 inch, 1 inch. If a person you're working with is busty, always do 1 inch or 0.7 so that it will grip, it will have a firm grip. Okay, so I'll connect like so. I also want to point out that the person that owns this dress does not want her chest line revealing. So this is not going to be the usual. It's not the same as the picture that was on the left and on the right side. Okay, so that is the alteration, the difference in it. So I just want to point it out in case I start altering it so that it doesn't look strange to you. You know the difference when someone comes to you to take their measurement, they have all the rights to tell you how they want their dress to be. Okay, so she stated she does not want her upper chest revealing, so because of that the alteration is going to be different. So now I'm going to get the middle point. I changed this, so I didn't edit this part out, but you can follow it. I just went up by 2 there and I connected down, but later I realized that, oh, that's not what she wanted. So just basically repeating like same process. Okay, but if you choose to have yours like this, you can leave it. So I connected. If we're doing a deep sweetered neck, that chest line you will go down again by maybe 1 inch, then connect back like so. It will give you a sweetered neckline. Okay, so this is going to look something like you've not seen before, but just the process I went through. So here I'm dividing my shoulder into 2 to do a contouring to eliminate any bulge that I may have. And at this point, this is where I realized that, ooh, I didn't connect, so I went up by 1, you can see. So I took it up in the middle point, then connect it to the middle of that place. So I now connected. Okay, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, so now I've successfully raised the chest line, so it's not revealing, it's not going to reveal any cleavage or anything. Okay, so this is not a sweeter neckline kind of, but it looks like so because the armhole side is upper, so it will give you that illusion like it is sweeter neck, but it's not. So now I'm going to replace to my armhole line, I'm going to replace 1 inch. You know we took out 2, but I'm replacing only 1. Okay, I'll connect it back and connect to the armhole line like so. It's quite easy, but I just want to show my process. So if you enjoy, if you want to really learn, you can stick to it. So now I'm taking my measurement. This is how I take my measurement. I will measure what I have left from there. I will minus it from when I divide my measurement by 4. What I have left, I will complete it. So this is how I take my measurement when I'm doing pattern. If you've been following me, you know. I always do fresh pattern for all my work. So I'll connect. So I've successfully impute all my accurate measurements. Nothing is missing from my measurement, if that makes sense. So now I'm imputing my waist measurement. Remember this pattern, I'm cutting together for the skirt. So I will impute my hip measurement. And on the knee line, I'm going to minus 1 inch from my hip measurement. So it depends on how contoured you want the dress to be. You can do 1.5. Some people do up to 2, but 1 is okay because I'm still going to contour the back, so it doesn't look. It's okay. If you're doing like a man-made or something, you can do much of a contour because it will bring out the beauty of the extra tails you're going to have. But since that's not what we're doing, now I've put the difference between my waistline of the front and the back to my bust. I've moved it to the bust. So that's how you get your bust that, in case you don't know. So I've imputed it there. So now let's work on the back. We're repeating like almost the same process, just different. I'm putting my shoulder measurement. I will connect the shoulder measurement like so. Then I will take my round depth, neck, the width and the depth. I did 1.5. Then I'll connect. Then I'm going to put my shoulder slope for the side, which is 1. For the back is always 1. The front is 1.5. So I'll divide into 2. Whatever I have, I'll connect it. And I will go in by 0.3 for the back contouring. For the front contouring, I did 5. Is either 0.5. Okay, so now I'm going to impute my chest line. That's my bust measurement. Sorry, I'm always used to calling chest line my bust measurement. Then I will take the half length for the back. It's 16. Okay, so I'm going to connect it. People's half lengths are different, please. If your own is 3, the difference, and if you don't know how to take accurate body measurement, I will link it in the description box so you can go check it out. I have the video. So now I'm going to take from there, I'm going to measure my hip line. From my waistline, I'm measuring my hip line. So it's like this because you see the difference. You will still notice the difference from there to the hip for the front is 1 inch. That's when we close that bust, that everything is going to align. So you don't have to fear. If this is your first time of coming across this method, you're totally safe. So now I'm connecting my waistline, my hip line. I'm going to connect my waist to the hip line with my ruler. Connect to the chest line like so. And the same way I'll impute my hip line there, then I'll minus 1 from it. So I'm going to connect from that one I went in by and connect it back to the hip line like so. So now I'm doing 1 inch contouring for this person. Please, I will point out your back shape is different. Everybody, this person, I've made clothes for her for many times, so I know from experience, I realized that her back is deeper, so I did 1 inch. So you can do 0.5 just to be on the safe side. Then on the waistline, I did 0.5 again and 0.5 down like so. You understand? So I've eliminate all the budgies that it's supposed to have. I got to find this method helpful for me, for this person, because I've made clothes for her before. So I know that she really need more of contouring for her back shaping. So that reduces budgies. Some person's back are not too deep. So if you do 0.5 and don't even do the contouring on the waistline, like I did 0.5, 0.5, and on the zipper side you do 0.5, it will work perfectly for them. So I don't want to bore girls with that's so much talk. So from the line I went in by, now I'm taking my waist dart for the back, and I will go up from the chest line. I went down by 1. That's how I went up by 6 and I went down by 6.5. So I'm going to connect like so, and I'll place my dart 0.5, 0.5. I'll connect. So now I'm going to replace the dart. Take note, it's only the dart I'm replacing. The one I took out from the zipper side, I didn't replace, okay? Then the upper part of that place, I replaced that 0.2. If you check it, you get approximately like 0.2 or 0.3. And I'm going to connect like so. And if I also check the one down, it's still the same thing. So I've successfully replaced all the darts that I took out. You see, it's the same thing on the other side, okay? So it's just the zipper side that I did not replace, aside from the upper part of the chest line, if that makes sense. If you have any question, please drop your comment, ask your question in the comment section, and I will reply you as soon as possible. I'm going to connect from that midpoint of the armhole to the other side. You know, for the front panel is the same method that I use. So I'm going to connect like so, so that when I'm sewing them, they are going to align. So now we're done. We're going to cut out our pattern. I'm cutting at the back first. I'll split open. So I've successfully removed my skirt pattern for the down and my upper bodies. So I'm going to divide that into 2. Reasons are because of the yoke inside, you know, the tube, like it's like a tube, or I don't know how to put it, but I believe you understand me. So I did 0.2, 0.2 on the upper part to contour that place, but I'm cutting it together. There is a reason why I'm cutting it together, because I'm going to use this back panel to cut out for the front, if that makes sense. So it is when I'm done cutting for the net for the front that will cut the other back pieces. So now put your arrows to indicate, so you know, especially for this back skirt, because once I successfully cut out my dart, that's my hip contouring, I will have same thing. So I forgot to tell you what I did. For the waist of the upper part of the basket, I went in by 0. I went in by 1, and at the down part, I went in by 1, and I connected them back to the hip line, and from the waist also connected back to so you see the shape is giving. So it's going to give room for the hip, and that's what gives you that curve that you see. For those people that are really very curvy, that have this curvy figure 8 shape, it will just come out very well. Okay, this you may have to leave it, it's not for everybody. Yeah, but I like to do contour my skirts because I don't use that in the front panel of my skirt, so I contour it that way. But you may skip it if you are not used to it. So I have to open my darts so that I will be able to close my bust darts. Okay, so now I've successfully closed my bust dart. So what I'm going to do is, you see there's a shortage around there, so I'm going to correct it so that I don't have shortage. Connect. And I'll tape it down. So now I'll cut out. And cut out. So I'm trying to cross check if my work is accurate. That's the beauty of making pattern. But I found out that it's short, there's a shortage because I did not close the upper dart before cutting. If I had closed it, I will make sure to put out all the shortage, like for the waist, for the bust that you saw when I did a correction. So now what I'm going to do, thank God I remembered early. So I'm going to close it like so with paper tape. I'll hold it down and put all the pieces that I took out from there, then make the necessary correction, then recut it again. Okay. Just tape down. I know you won't make this mistake because I made it, so you're not supposed to make this mistake, right? Okay. So I'm going to put like so, glue them, then close the dots up and blend it off. So this is what we have now. We have our pattern is accurate. Nothing is shortened now. Yeah, that's the beauty of using a pattern. So now let's cut out for this is the back. You can see after placing the back measurement, you see that there's a space like that. Okay, do not be bothered about it because the bust that is going to make up for that space. Okay, so this is me using the front panel, the back panel to cut out for the front lace that I'm placing. Then now I'm cutting out my zipper allowance now, and now I'm cutting for the back, the one for the back. Okay, add your necessary allowance that you need, your zipper allowance and everything, because there was no zipper allowance added to the work. So now I'm doing the same process. I'm going to cut my zipper allowance, add all my necessary allowance for the side of the back. That's the zipper side. I'm doing the side seam, sorry, I'm doing two. That's the allowance. This person always love enough allowance in her clothes, but I don't do above 2 though. So I'm putting 2-inch allowance for her, and I'm going to put zipper allowance as well for the back. Okay, this is the back. I'm imputing my dart allowance. So for the hip waistline I did 3, for the hip I did 2, for the waist I did 3. So the one extra 1 inch is for the dart in the upper part. So I'll repeat same. I'll put 2 down and I'll connect it. I'll make sure I will divide into 2 like so that we'll have a equal line. Okay, connect it straight down, then make all my so that everything will be equal, if that makes sense, because the paper is short. It's just to economize paper. So I'll connect and always cross-check to make sure your lines are even and your measurements are accurate. Very, very necessary. Okay, I just want to show us this part because in case you've not done this method before, you saying that is a long skirt or a long dress and the pattern is short, so that you don't get confused. Okay, so this is how I achieved all the work that I did. I taking us through every process, both the sewing process, how to achieve a neat finishing of the sewing. I try to cover everything in this tutorial. So that's my sewing allowance that I'm imputing now. So this now is the zipper allowance. You see at the zipper point, the hip point, I'm imputing 1.5, at the upper part 1.5, and I'm going to connect. I'm still repeating the same process downward. I'm going to connect everything. So because of the 1 inch I eliminated from the waistline and from the down, that's from the knee line of the zipper allowance part when I was drafting the pattern, it's going to give us room. It's going to give room for your hip. Okay, now if we connect it, you're going to have, you see the side of that your sleeve that is supposed to be very bulky is going to look well fitted. That's the effect this gives. Okay, and please make sure to like our video and subscribe. I try as much as possible to upload video almost every week. Like, subscribe, and if this video is very helpful to you, please share with your loved ones. Okay, so connect all your lines, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time I upload new video. Okay, and also let us know if this video is helpful. If you recreate this, send us message on our handle. My handle is on my video. Once it's playing, you get my handles there. So notch your zipper allowance, the upper part and the down part. So now I've separated the back, the yoke out of the back panel. Now I'm adding all my sewing allowance. Add the sewing allowance you can contain, you can work with. Okay, the same process. I'm repeating my zipper allowance 1.5 because the one for the skirt was 1.5, so the one for the upper back is going to be 1.5 as well. Every allowance I repeated on this thing, I'm going to repeat same. This one, you know, the down part of the skirt, I did 3. I'm going to do 3 for this down part as well because my dart is inside, and at the upper part of my chest line I did 2.5. okay, that's because I'm going to sew on 0.5 on the upper part, if that makes sense. So cut. Then on the upper part, the same thing, the side, just add your necessary allowance. For your bustier line, you're going to add 0.5 or 0.7 if you're a beginner, if you cannot work on a small, but make sure you sew on your added allowance. That's the beauty of, that's how you get the result you want. Okay, so now I've cut out my pad. I have a video on how to pad. If you don't know, if this is your first time, you don't know how to pad or cut out your pad, I have a detailed tutorial on it. You can go check it out. Then this is the lining for the front. So I'm going to work on the skirt first. I'm going to turn it up with 1 inch. Okay, the fabric is actually shorter than the distance for 1 inch, and normally standard length for skirt is basically 45 for some persons, though some persons are shorter than that. Some persons are like 43 but for this person 45 is perfect. Okay, so that is why the 1 inch is going to work well for me. Now that's how I'm going to sew the back. I've sewn the lining for the front and I'm showing it to you. This is the lining. You see how curvy it is. So you just notch all the necessary part. Notch your nipple point and your underbust. So I'm going to repeat the same process on this one, matching all my notches and sewing on my added allowance, which was 0.5. Okay, so here now I'm turning the facing. I use bias to turn the facing of the neckline of the front, and I'm going to notch. I will trim off the excess and notch. Okay, So when I trim off the excess and notch, when I'm closing it, it will give me room to move it in a little so that the bias don't pop up. So this is what we have for the back. Now I'm trimming off like 1 inch from the armhole of the front. Okay, so it will give my chest, you know, your chest line is not same as your bust measurements, if that makes sense. So now I'm just going to sew like so. This is a bit tricky if you want to learn this part, so pay attention. I'll leave 0.5 on the edge there, you saw me, and I trim off and notch the armhole. Then I'm going to turn like so. The remaining one, that's so I didn't use bias for that place. I just fold it in the armhole side after turning. So now I'm going to move, you see my chest line, I'm moving the facing, that's the net, in. Okay, I'm starting from 0.5 I left. I'm going to sew up, making sure the net is not close to my seam line. Then sew like so, and trim off, notch the edge like that, notch the middle point, and give a notch everywhere that needs trimming. Make sure to trim and turn out like you see me do. So now we have neat finishing for it. There are other ways you can do it. Repeat same process for the back. If you don't want to go through this process, sew your tube in, then you just use your hemming gum to hem the lace to the cloth. But this gives the best result. This gives you a professional neat finishing. Okay, so the armhole line, when you get towards the edge, you stop by 0.5. That's the added allowance you left to sew up the upper part, and you move it in like so. So the trick is this: you first of all sew your seam line, your seam line, the two both side seam line, your armhole. Then you finish up by sewing the upper part, that's the chest line, if you that's what you understand. Okay, now you know when you notch and you make a mistake, you over notched, so I have to resew. All right, so notch and take it out like so. You know when you watch videos like this, you think there was no mistake. Sometimes there is. It's just that it's been cut off. So you trim, you sew in. Make sure not to take in too much, okay? Like that's 0.2 or so, you sew on it. And so all what this will do is it's just going to give you a neat, when you add your zip now, it will look funny. Okay? See that just small space that is left, that's what you match on. Make sure not to exceed it. And yes, this is the outcome. So now I'm going to, this is the upper part of the front panel, that's the front skirt. So what I will do to get that flay or flois that is in front, I hope I pronounced it well, I'm going to go the middle point of my skirt. I ironed it, so I know where the middle point is. So I'm going to go in with the dart allowance, which is 4.5, and I'm going to connect with freehand like this. Just be eye gauging it like you're making an arc, like a curve like that. You stop at like 0.5 because that's the space to add your the upper panel to the skirt. So now I'm going to cut out flay. The length of my flay is 6.5, okay, for the length of my flay. So I'll cut, then the circumference I use to cut the upper round part is 2 inch, okay, 2 inch. So the total of what I have is, I'm having 4.5. So when I'm done sewing, I'm going to have like 4, okay. So cross-check your measurement. Always cross-check your measurements and to make sure you have the desired result you want before cutting, since you're not cutting on pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out. I cut 4 pieces for this. You can do 3. I cut 4 pieces. When I was done sewing, I have a little bit extra, but it's good to have extra than having shortage. Okay, that's why I said 3 to 4, because when I did, I cut 4 and I found out that I had extra, but it's still good to be on the safe side. So open them up like so and join. Right side, joining it at in the right direction. That's what I want to say. Okay, you join all the panels. Now you're going to place it. This is how you're going to place it. While placing it like so, make sure to pin. Okay, so I'm going to take to the machine. I've successfully pinned it. I'll take to the machine to sew. Then when I get towards the same line, I'm going to leave my seam allowance. Okay, then when I'm done, I'm going to attach the down part. When I'm done sewing it, I'm going to attach the down part, and if there's any excess after sewing, trim it off. Okay, that's from the same side, so that when the person is wearing it, if it's blown by the breeze or something, it will look neat inside, if that makes sense. I top stitch, but I realized that if you top stitch, it doesn't give it that swing, that much of a swing. Okay, so now I'm connecting. I've placed all my measurement and I'm connecting my measurement like so. You pin your dress down and put in all your necessary measurements that you need. I'm connecting the hip to the knee line, then the hip to the waistline. Then when I'm done, I'll connect. When I'm done, I always do a contouring on my underbust. You can skip that if it works for me. I do 0.2. Okay, I'll connect back to the chest line. Okay, and sorry, 0.5 on both sides, and that's how I shape my clothes. But some people don't do that and it still come out well. Just do what works for you. Then sew on your shoulder with 0.5. Now I want to add a pleat. This you can do it cutting it together. Okay, so what I have, but I didn't cut together, because that one you cut together, if there is a mistake, if it's too down below where the person wants it, it's always a problem, because I didn't take the measurement of it when I was doing it. Okay, so now the length, the width that I use is 8.5, so that will give me a total of 17. That's what I have. So you're going to pleat like so. You pleat and pin. You pleat and pin, and you sew down. Iron and sew down. You repeat same process on the other side. This is the first method. Okay, this is the second method. Just sew in 0.5 on this side and on this side, both pleats you want to use. Then you distribute the pleats like so. This is better for a beginner. Okay, and you sew. You see, this is what I have. I sewed from here to the midpoint and stopped, from the other side to the midpoint and stopped. So you can't see my stitch in front of the dress. Okay, so now for the sleeve, I did 6. That's after sewing it. I've already sewn my place I'm going to pass in my elastic to. I've sewn it. I sewed on 0.5, and the down part, the length I used is 17 as well. But you could do, if you want it fuller, you can do more than that. Okay, so I'm going to start from the midpoint of my armhole, which is 4. I went down by 4. Then I'm going to sew it down like that. I repeat it on the other side. So thank you for watching, and we're almost done. This is it. This is the process. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you're going to recreate it. See you in my next one. Bye.